Hello and welcome back to Make It Yappen. I'm Bethany and this is Shan.
Hello.
Hello, Shan. As always, we're starting off with the advice for the week. So Shan, what's your advice for the week?
My advice for this week is short and sweet. Never do anything that you wouldn't want to explain to a paramedic.
Well, that's me rethinking my whole weekend.
Yeah, you should.
Probably.
And what is your advice for the week, my love?
My advice for the week is that hooting is a gateway drug to hollering. So, maybe calm that down.
Hoot and holly your way through the weekend.
Aye. I will, in this weather. Bloody hell.
Beautiful.
Right, let's get into it. So today on Make It Yappen, I want to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big topic, that.
Big topic. Something that, like, I think anyone and everyone has gone through something mental health wise, and if you haven't, I think you're a big stinky liar. I don't think anyone's that, like, mentally sound in this economy.
I've not met one.
No. And if
I've met ones that think that they are, and I'm like...
they're not. No, they're not. So yeah. I kind of want to talk about that today, because I think, with it being, at the time of recording this, it's Mental Health Awareness Week. At the time of us posting this, it's not Mental Health Awareness Week. It's also sunny outside, so the intro might be a bit dated as well.
Yeah.
we could be posting this when it's raining, and nothing to do with mental health. But I think it's still a very good topic to cover, and it's what made me think about recording today. So I want to start with recognising when you're having a mental health crisis, because some people, I think, don't realise that they're in the midst of one until they're absolutely in the thick of it.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like they're climbing through smoke, trying to just get out of it.
Yeah.
And they don't know where they've even gone wrong, really.
Yeah, it feels like a sudden thing, and really it probably isn't.
It's crept up on you.
Yeah.
I think in particular with things like, I think work is a big, instigator of mental health crises. Crises?
Crises.
Crises. Crises. Crises.
Crocuses.
Also crocuses. Crusties.
Yes.
So,
mental health crusties.
Mental health crusties. And I do feel like work's a big culprit, obviously, because that is the thing that you are at, I would say, unless you're very lucky and you don't have to work.
It takes up most of your life, right?
Yeah, it does.
So you've kind of got to be happy there, and if you're not,
yeah,
it doesn't tend to go well.
No, this is it. I mean, I think we're quite lucky, both of us are quite lucky in the sense that our jobs don't cause that.
No.
But you might be in a position where your job does, and that, I've been in that position where it just absolutely sucks ass.
Oh, horrific, yeah.
Horrifically. Yeah. It's the thing that you've got to, like, put yourself through fucking Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, and not want to die.
Yeah, absolutely awful. I've been in that position, and it's crippling.
It is. And I think you've kind of got to recognise, I think the best way that I can kind of describe it is that you've got to recognise, like, before you get to that point. So there's things that might happen in your behaviour.
Yeah.
I think, like, stress is obviously a very obvious one. But that stress you might feel is just periodical. It might just be a stressful thing that's happening at work, and once that's over, you're fine. But then there's other stresses where you might have, like, a colleague, for example, that might make your life...
just difficult. Yeah.
And that stress will be constant whilst they're there.
Or the job itself, if you're just under a lot of pressure... So I worked in a job where I was trained very minimally for a very high risk job.
Yeah.
And that sent me absolutely west.
Yeah.
I had a full on nervous breakdown.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about was it a client that you rang that rang you that added you to his list?
Oh, lad. Right, the people I used to have to speak to in that job was... I've never seen anything or heard anything like them.
Yeah.
Right? They were, oh my God. Tories, mate. That's what they were. They were fucking Tories. And they Oh my God. This one particular guy who was notorious anyway.
Yeah.
He was known for it, for terrorising staff members. All this was over the phone, so it's not even like ever met the guy.
Yeah.
But he was old. He must have been in his, like, approaching his 80s.
Yeah.
But vicious. And he particularly enjoyed berating female staff members and particularly enjoyed berating me because I was trying to pretend like I knew what I was doing in that job. None of us knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it was high risk, was to do with money. So he said to me on the phone one time, because I'd done something wrong.
Yeah.
He had said to his Alexa whilst on the phone to me, Alexa, put Sian on the list. Right, lad. What the fuck are you talking about? For a start, I just went, what? And he was like, well, it's none of your business. I was like, well, it is.
Yeah.
Because
it's definitely...
It's about me.
Yeah.
So I just hung up on him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I also told another customer to fuck off. And that's when I had my notice in. That's when I handed my notice in.
Wait,
yeah.
did
I
you
couldn't
not...
handle it.
Did you not go off on sick? On long-term sick?
Yes, I did. So I was only there 3 months, and then I went on long-term sick for 3 months. So I was technically only under employment for 6 months. And I was only actually there for half of that. That's how bad it was. It was horrendous.
But, again, I think, like, maybe it's quite radical of me to say, but I've always had this approach that, like, no job, not a single job is worth, like, your mental health.
Absolutely not.
So if going off on long-term sick is what you need, take it.
Oh, I fully had to. Fully had to.
Like, that's what it's there for. I can't stress enough how, like, unimportant work is. This is coming from somebody who actually takes, like, a lot of pride in the job. Like, I really, really do. I think it's really... Like, for me personally, for my personal development, I like to get as much as whatever I can out of my role. I like to learn.
Yeah.
I like to improve. I like to pick up skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, that's good for me. I'm in a job where I can do that. And, like, I'm supported by my company, which is great. But if I wasn't in a job that was like mine and the company wasn't supporting me and I wasn't learning, I wasn't developing, and it was a stressful environment where, like, and I have been in jobs where it's like that, you're damn right. Like, I would be on the sick.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And there's, like, if you need that... I mean, in my previous job role, actually, they used to give you mental health days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in education, which is, like, obviously a bit more progressive in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we'd have, like, a mental health day. And it was not part of your holiday, and it wasn't part of your sick. It was a designated mental health day.
Really?
You take it off, and you do what you want.
Jeez.
Which is really cool.
Kind of unheard of, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there is nowhere else...
I've never done that, like.
Yeah,
no.
And it, like I say, it was I was working in education. So, which has, like, a lot of progressive policies. They pay you pennies, but the holiday and the policies are absolutely, they're cracking.
Yeah, spot on.
So, which in some ways, I think I'd rather be paid less and be looked after by a company.
Yeah. I've experienced, like, where... So, all of these are previous employees, by the way. So, you know, my current employment is actually really good.
Yeah.
So obviously I had that with that old employer when I had a literal nervous breakdown and went on the sick.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I had an employer where they told me, so I was still recovering from the breakdown that I'd had, but we needed to pay the bills. So I went back to work, but elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they told me, when I was still suffering, that you should have told us that you were in long-term sick for mental health from your last role, because and we can't understand why you've not told us, because there's no stigma around mental health anymore. She said that to my face.
If there's no stigma around mental health anymore, then why do you have to tell them?
Why are you bringing it up then?
Yeah.
Why is it a fucking problem then?
Yeah. Because it's not like... Did you go off sick in that...
No, I wasn't off sick.
Oh, right. Then, like, why is it an issue then?
So because I was suffering, I'd been late at work a couple of times.
Oh, right, okay.
And yeah, that's what they said. And I was like,
Jeez.
okay, well, that's categorically not true.
Yeah.
Fine. I went, I don't actually owe you that information anyway.
No.
I'm telling you now because it's an issue now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to tell you my history.
No.
You've got no right to that.
No, exactly. Especially if it's a circumstantial thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you know, for example, like, if you're properly, like, cyclical with it.
Yeah.
Like, your mental health.
Yeah. So, I hadn't really been diagnosed with anything at that point.
Yeah.
So, I didn't even know that.
That's it.
So, after that, I will disclose that.
Yeah.
With employers, and I have done. Because I'd been diagnosed with, well, I've got, like, a mood disorder and, you know, same old fucking generalised anxiety and depression. Who fucking hasn't? Do you know what I mean? You're not special. It's not a USP. But, so yeah, I'll disclose that now. But then, I was incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Don't fucking say that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's no stigma around it, so why don't you tell us? Fuck off.
Yeah.
But there is, though, because people are doing me, especially if you've got a formal diagnosis, the fear is telling somebody that they will then look at you like, oh, she can be a nutter at any time. You're like a ticking time bomb. That's what I was always afraid of, telling people that.
Oh, I never even thought about it that way because, like, I'm currently going through the process of getting diagnosed for ADHD.
Yeah.
But I can't turn around and say that I've got ADHD, even though it's cripplingly obvious when you speak to me.
It has been said.
It has been said several times. But I feel like I can't turn around and be like, I've got ADHD because I don't have a diagnosis, so I can't back it up. So even though there's been some stuff that I've struggled with in the past, so not necessarily mental health, but kind of mental health.
Yeah.
I guess. I feel like I've got no...
It's brain function, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, or lack thereof. Yeah, so, like, sometimes I feel like I can't say shit until I have a diagnosis, which I won't get until 2027.
Yeah, it's hard.
Now, which is really fucking annoying, because I was on the waiting list and then I moved back here, and then now they put me back on the waiting list at the start.
Oh, no.
I know, it was really annoying, because I was almost at the end as well. But, yeah, that's another story for a different time. Yeah, I think be open and honest with your job to the degree that you want to be.
Yep.
But also, this might be a really radical thing to say. If your work isn't serving you, like, mental health-wise, bin it off.
Yeah, quit your job.
Quit your job.
Yeah.
I know that's really radical. I shouldn't be encouraging people to quit their jobs. But, and I suppose people, like, listen to it and be like, oh, well, that's a very Gen Z thing to...
Or it's like a privileged thing to say. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
However, if you're in a position where you do need funds, immediately look for somewhere else.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Anything.
Literally take anything, because the longer that you stay in that role, the more poorly you're going to be.
Yeah. And I can't stress enough that it's so not worth self-harming or killing yourself over a job.
It really isn't.
It really, really isn't.
And look, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've absolutely been there over a job.
Yeah.
It really, really isn't worth it.
No. I've worked some pretty shitty jobs. And, like, I understand, like, having to work those shitty jobs in order to move on up. But again, I just can't stress enough. I'd take anything.
Yeah.
To... If I was in... You know what my worst job ever was? A waitress.
Oh... I can imagine that's harrowing, because you've got to deal with the general fucking public. I cannot stand the general public. No offence. No offence.
You mean the general public that are listening to our podcast right now?
No, not you. No, not you. You're different. But, like, anything customer facing, retail...
It wasn't even that for me. It was the fact that I physically couldn't do the job because I'm only teeny... I was really teeny-wee. And I still am teeny-wee.
Well, you are 4 foot, fuck all.
Yeah, thank you. I am actually I am over 5 foot. Don't listen to her. She's bullying me. But yeah, if I had to do something like that again, I remember I faked throwing up to get out of shift once. I remember Mum picked me up and she had a go at me because she was like, you need to, like, learn how to work, whatever, and she thought it was work shit, and I'm like, no, I just really can't do this. Like,
yeah, I just can't bear this job.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in terms of recognising other aspects of, like, having a mental health crisis, I think your mood is something that sneaks up on you.
You got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I feel like you start catastrophising everything, because one thing might go wrong, but then when one thing goes wrong, something minor might go wrong.
Yeah.
And, like, it only takes the straw to break the camel's back.
Yep.
Before the whole fucking world is ending, you know. And that can be brought out as well. Like, you can look at catastrophising everything, and that brings out obsession, like low mood.
Yeah. You'll sort of see it in, like, you start to not find joy in anything. And so, for me, if I know that I'm heading into one, a bit of a crisis, then it's usually, I'm very, very quick to anger.
Oh, right, okay.
That's just what I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly short fuse on stuff that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I don't find joy in anything.
Yeah.
I struggle to find things funny.
Really?
Yep. Very low energy as well.
Fair enough.
I could sleep for a week and still feel tired.
Yeah. I go, like, a slightly different way. So if I'm in a mental health crisis, I start getting paranoid of stuff.
Yes. Overthinking what you've said.
Yeah.
How you've behaved.
My anxiousness as a result of that shoots up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny that you mentioned, like, not finding the joy in things. I'll probably start self-depreciating more and not realising it. Because don't get me wrong, I love a self-deprecating joke.
Oh, yeah. Top tier comedy.
Yeah, I think it can be chef's kiss, like, yes. Perfectly crafted.
Hell yeah.
I love being self-depreciating on Quiplash in particular, just for the points.
It's so good. I love Quiplash. Best thing to ever be invented.
Yeah, genuinely. But sometimes you might push it a little further when you're in a bit of a mental health crisis. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, because if you make yourself laugh, then fair enough. But also, like, you might be...
If you're genuinely meaning what you're saying...
You're piling on yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're bullying yourself.
Yeah, and for what?
That's all you're doing.
You already feel shit. I think as well, like, when you're recognising a mental health crisis, you might start slipping into old behaviours.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, self-harm and stuff. This is the thing, right? Everyone goes, oh, not everyone. I should rephrase that. I feel like a lot of people think that they've never self-harmed in their life, because when they think of self-harm, they think of the very basic definition of physically
harming yourself.
Physically harming yourself. Whether that's cutting yourself, burning yourself, just causing physical harm. Whereas, as I've got older, I've realised that people self-harm in very different ways. Whether that's obviously physical self-harm, but then you've got sexual self-harm.
Yeah.
I know people that when they go off the rails, they'll fuck anyone and anything.
Yeah, like reckless sex.
But recklessly. So, like, in a way that's not safely, so they might not be protecting themselves from STDs or STIs. Or they might be putting themselves in a situation which might be dangerous. So, particularly for women, if they're having sex with a guy, like, going back to his place.
You don't know him or whatever.
Don't know him, don't know where you're at. You might be drunk, you might be on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's a whole other topic, isn't it?
Yeah. Not being on birth control as well, like, and doing it in a way that's, like, you don't give a shit what happens to your life.
Basically, yeah. I mean, the whole mentality around it being, oh, well, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I just don't give a fuck what happens to me.
Yeah, because you can...
That is self-harm.
Yeah, I mean, the difference, obviously, with sexual self-harm and, I guess, just wanting to do it because it's fun, I guess it is absolutely that. It's the mentality. It's, I don't give a fuck what happens to me. I've already fucked my life up, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so you basically just hitting self-destruct.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But it's the same with, like, drinking drugs and, like, just substance abuse.
Yeah. That's self-harm, for sure. Binge drinking on a weekend. All weekend. Or you're drinking, or maybe even drinking, like, a weekday, and you're going to work and you're, like, hungover, or maybe you're still drunk or something.
Oh, we've all done that.
Well, we've all done that. We've all done that. Yeah. But are we, again, mentality-wise, are we doing it because we're students and we're just having a good time and, like, we're just partying and I can do this in my 20s because my hangovers don't last more than one day. And
I miss uni.
I miss not being anxious after drinking.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. I don't like Sunday scaries.
Or are we doing it because fuck my life, I don't care what happens to me, you know, I want to be dead or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter if I'm dead or alive.
You're doing it in a destructive way, then it's a bit different. You need to analyse. You need to step back and analyse that, I think.
Yeah.
And be like, hang on a minute. Am I doing this because I hate myself?
Yeah. I think there's like, when you're going through like a bit of a mental health crisis, you tend to withdraw as well from society. Not society, or maybe society. Maybe like the things that matter. So your friends, your family, your relationships, work does unfortunately matter to an extent. But you withdraw from all of those things, and I think you struggle to like commit to a certain extent. Like your
heart's just not in it.
Yeah.
Ever. You just struggle to find the joy.
I think that's the main thing, isn't it? It's like you struggle.
The spark's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That is probably the best way that you can possibly phrase all of this.
Yeah.
The spark has gone from everything that you do.
Yeah.
And everything that you're experiencing.
Everything just feels like a fucking mundane task.
Yeah. Groundhog Day.
Yeah. And like, that I would say is like the crux of recognising whether you're in a mental health crisis.
I think so.
So, I guess like, now that we've kind of recognised that, what do we do to get out of it? Well,
there's lots of things that you can do. However...
What have you done?
What have I done? Well, oh God. I've been through about 5, 6, 7 years of therapy, something like that.
And it's only working now, but it's worked!
But it's worked, you know. I think the problem is, by telling people what they can do, you'll find that a lot of people that are going through a mental health crisis or have been through a mental health crisis will just roll your eyes.
Yeah,
roll their eyes at you.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was younger, and when it was first starting, my mental health issues, and we went to a doctor.
Yeah.
Or possibly a nurse, actually. And they said, do you have any hobbies? Why don't you write a journal? And I'm like, the journal will be really short. It will be, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
What's the fucking point in that?
Yeah.
Useless. It's something that Cams would come out with, but you know. So, no one can tell you what to do.
Have you tried mindfulness?
Oh my God. Have you tried meditating? Can't even spell it. Shut up. Yeah. Actually, I'm taking the piss, but meditating really did actually help me.
It's just so annoying when they like summarise it like it's not a complex thing.
I know, but it's almost like it comes across, especially when you're in panic and you feel like nothing's going to help anyway. When people say shit like that, it feels like they're just palming you off because they don't know what else to say to you.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Sometimes that might be the case. And I think it's alright us sitting here and saying, oh, here's 5 tips on how to deal with a mental health crisis. The problem with mental health issues is that they are all so unique.
Yeah.
One thing that works for one person is not going to work for another.
God, no.
So going on walks might help for some people.
Yeah.
It really isn't going to for other people, and even suggesting it will make them angry.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we can talk about is our own experiences, really.
Yeah.
And the good experiences that I've had have been because I've utilised a network of people that I know can help me, that are emotionally intelligent and mature enough to sit and try to understand, and then do things to distract me enough so that I can break down what's going on in my own head.
Yeah.
That is fundamentally so important. I understand that not everybody has a network of people. Some people are quite isolated.
Yeah.
In that case, I would say you need to spend time, a lot of time, with a mental health professional. Also, don't be afraid to find the right mental health professional.
Yeah, because some of them suck ass.
Some of them are awful.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Really, really bad.
And if it's not working for you, bin them off, but get another one. Don't just bin them off and try and raw dog it.
Raw dog your mental health.
Don't raw dog your mental health.
God.
Don't just bin them off and then go on your merry way. Get another professional.
Yeah.
And you can go through as many as you want until you find the right one that you really click with.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're understanding, they're getting it.
Yeah.
Stick with them, and stick with them for as long as you possibly can. and try and do it that way. Because, and then again, you know, a lot of people say, whenever I've talked about being in therapy, because I've been in therapy for a number of years.
Yeah.
I'm not currently, but throughout my life I have been. Whenever I've said, oh, I'm in therapy, the amount of people have turned around to me and gone, therapy doesn't work for me.
How do they know?
How long have you been in it?
Yeah.
Because it's not just like a few sessions and then sound.
No.
That's just not the way it's going to go.
No.
And I understand that the services right now are under pressure.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of available stuff, but you've just got to try and stick with it. Go again. Re-refer yourself.
Yeah.
Keep going. Therapy's more of like a maintenance. It's getting to the root of the problem and then you keep going to maintain decent mental health. It's like a maintenance thing. So you might not even be going for a mental health crisis. You might just be going through something that you find really uncomfortable and you don't know how to deal with it. Try therapy.
Yeah.
Don't have to be when you're in the pits, when you're absolutely the lowest of the low.
No.
You know.
This is it. I've thought about looking into it again. I've been in therapy 3 times.
Yeah.
All of those times have been, it's not because my mental health is cyclical, it's because it was affected by an event.
Yeah.
So to speak. So the first time was when I was in sixth form, and it was because of my A-levels. I took academics really, really, really seriously. To the point that I was so stressed. I remember when I did my history A-level, I answered the wrong fucking question in the exam.
Yeah.
Fully thinking that I was doing the right thing. Which people listening will be like, well, that's not a big deal. But it was a very big deal to me. So I remember I got a U in my AS level. I retook it, ended up getting a C.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, I remember when I got that result and I was like, I've got to talk to somebody, otherwise I'm gonna
lose it.
I'm gonna lose it. So that was that, and then the second time was after I got attacked at uni. Yeah. And I was like, and I needed to speak to somebody, and I kind of did that before. It's really weird when something like that happens, because your brain, I feel like, when something traumatic happens to you, I think your brain protects itself sometimes.
It does.
So the after effects don't set in until a bit later. And I wanted to kind of catch that before it hit, and I hit the self-destruct button. Yeah. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I remember going to therapy and them telling me that I probably had, PTSD. They couldn't formally diagnose me. No. But because of the things that I'd described to them. So basically what happened was that I'd got attacked, and I'd go into places I thought I was seeing, my attacker's face in other people. Yeah. Which is obviously absolutely mental. And they were like, that's probably not good. But therapy was really, really helpful. I did cognitive behavioural therapy. Yeah. And talking therapy. And that is probably why my head is still screwed on. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot emphasise enough how good, especially in certain circumstances, how good talking therapies and especially CBT is. Yeah. The first time I ever went for CBT therapy, shite. Right? Yeah. Absolutely shite. It was awful. I went in this room and there was this fella, right? And I didn't vibe with him. I should have just stopped going. Yeah. But you know when they do that, oh no, it was horrible. It makes me cringe out even now. They he put out 2 chairs, one for me. Right. And the other one was for my younger self, and I was going to sit and speak to her.
Oh no!
Oh, I wanted to kill myself there and then.
Oh God!
I was like,
have to speak to a chair, an empty chair.
This isn't working, babe.
No.
This is cringing me out.
Yeah.
This isn't doing a thing for me.
And I was like, giggle a little bit, improve your mental health that way.
Honestly, it made me gip. I was like, this is horrific.
Talk to your younger self.
It was like shit like that, and I was like, oh. Is this guy for real? Has he just read a textbook and vomited it out?
He's read Therapy for Dummies.
He has. And then give it a whirl, hasn't he? He's tried to give it a whirl. Babe,
that's
pack
really
it in.
Good.
Pack it up. I was like, no, I don't want to talk to my younger self. She's not here. I was like, is it me that's mental or him? I don't get it.
Definitely him a little bit.
Oh, 100 fucking %. Sure. But then after that, I said I'd never do it again.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, that's giving me the ick. But I did it again, and it was so bloody helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful.
This is the thing, like, every time, to be fair, like, every time I've gone for therapy, it's always been a pretty positive experience. I can't recommend it enough. It's always, you know what I find as well? Whenever I've recommended therapy to people who quite clearly needed therapy, and by people, I mean ex-boyfriends, they've gone, oh, well, therapy doesn't work for me. And they've been quite defiant about it.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're absolutely certain that you don't need therapy, I think you need therapy. I do. Because if someone's telling you that you need therapy, you probably do need it, and maybe
depending on who's speaking to you though, because
well, yeah, if they're an absolute head case,
then don't worry about it. They need therapy.
They need therapy. But if somebody who's doing it like out of love and respect,
yeah, someone
that was a hiccup. Sorry,
someone that you trust and you know has got your best interests at heart. Maybe consider it.
Yeah, consider it.
Yeah.
Another thing that actually I was prescribed during my second round of therapy was exercise. I know. I got given
go for a walk.
Well, I got given a personal trainer actually. It was
really?
Yeah, this was at so it was at uni, and so I had talking therapy, CBT therapy. They gave me a personal trainer. They didn't expel the guy who attacked me, but they gave me all these other things. Sure, so that was great. Thanks. But yeah, so I got a personal trainer for I think it was 6 weeks. That was really good. Because that actually, people roll their eyes when they say go for a walk, do exercise, blah blah blah. Unfortunately,
it does actually do something.
It does do something.
If you put the effort in. If you've got the energy to put the effort in, it will help you out. If you don't, then it's not gonna.
Yeah, the dopamine was certainly dopamining.
Yes.
Whilst I was at the gym. I mean, it was good fun as well, because it brought down a lot of anxiety around going to the gym, because obviously I'm slightly bigger, and obviously when you're in there, you feel like everyone thinks everyone at the gym is looking at each other, and the truth is that they're not. They're trying to work out how the fuck the machines work.
Yeah, they've got no idea what's going on.
Yeah, literally. Everyone's just like, well, does that mean more weight there? Or am I lifting it correctly? Is my foot all right? Nobody's looking at you.
Am I going to break my back?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, I should have brought a spotter with me, Jesus. Yeah, nobody's looking at you. But like I say, it brought down a lot of anxiety around the gym. So it meant that when I went, I could, for the 6 weeks that I went and I had, my personal trainer, it meant afterwards I kept on going because it didn't scare me. And that continued to improve my mental health as well. Didn't lose any weight whatsoever. I remember, because it felt like Biggest Loser. I did a weigh-in at the start of it, and she did it was one of them fancy scales as well, which measured all of where my fat was in my body.
Oh Christ, I don't need to know that.
And I did the after of it, thinking, fuck yeah, I've lost loads or whatever. I must have done nothing. Didn't shift a single pound, but felt better. So I mean, and that's another thing as well. Fuck the expectation that going to the gym means that you have to lose weight. It can literally be an outlet for you just listening to a podcast and going for a walk on the treadmill.
Hint. Listen to make it yapping and get on the treadmill.
Or don't get on the treadmill, just listen to the podcast. I don't care.
Yeah, do it when you want. Do it in bed.
But yeah, and people think there's this big expectation that, you say, you've got to lose weight, but you don't. If you just want to improve your mental health, do exercise for that.
Yeah.
And that's what it became for me. Literally, I just walk.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing fuck all. I was just walking.
Yeah.
And listening to music, and it
can help to just focus on something that isn't your own catastrophe.
Yeah, it's to stop the voices.
It is. Yeah. Quell the voices.
But yeah, I mean, even when it comes to looking after your mental health, I feel like even slightly drastic moves are worth it sometimes.
They are, yeah.
Like,
you've got to make sure that you're not doing it recklessly, and that you're not doing it as punishment to yourself.
Yeah.
But certain moves are going to help you in the long run. So, and it might seem drastic.
yeah.
It might seem a bit crazy, but sometimes that is what's needed.
Yeah. So like I say, quitting your job. Quit your job. Oh my God, if it's not like... Not if it's not bringing you joy, because there'll be times at work where you sit there and you just think, why the fuck am I doing this? But if it's actively really...
If you dread going...
Yeah, if it's fucking you up, bin it.
Yeah.
If you're in a
you might quit your job, you might move away.
Yeah. You might move back home.
You might move back home.
Yeah. There's two people who have done that.
Yeah.
Like...
You might cut people off.
Cutting people off is actually just a great thing to do for your mental health. It's like, oh my God, thank God that's over.
Yeah, might be a release for you. Could be.
It really, really is.
But you've got to calculate that for you personally.
Yeah.
And whether that is actually going to help. You need to sit down and think about all the consequences that might come from that.
Yeah.
And then make your decision.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, just do it.
Yeah. I think as well, on that, doing stuff that might be slightly drastic, dabbling in... I say dabbling like it's a choice, or it's something that you can just sort of dip your toe in. Taking drugs that are prescribed to help your mental health.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to.
No, you don't.
But there's also nothing wrong with it if you do. There's a guy who I used to work with, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, who was going through a particularly bad patch. With work, actually. Work was the cause of his, like, mental health struggle. And he went on sertraline and he said it's the best he's ever felt.
I did that.
Like,
yeah.
It helped him, and he used it for a certain amount of time, and then he came off it. He lost weight. He felt better about going to work. He went off sick, actually, because of work. So, went on sertraline and just felt so much better.
That is exactly
and then
what
he moved
I
jobs.
did. Yeah. Exactly what I did.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
At all.
I took sertraline for 18 months.
Yeah.
And I was on a high dosage. Well, I think it's a high dosage, actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
100 milligram, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it really did. I think taking mental health drugs really depends on how far in the pitch you are.
Yeah.
If you're really not getting out of there anytime soon.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I went on them and it levelled me out.
Yeah.
And it did it really did what I needed to do. However, then I got to a point where I'm like, right, there was things that had changed in my life. I'd moved home, I'd changed jobs, and I was like, okay, unfortunately now though, I'm still taking sertraline and I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
I was just on a level playing field constantly. So the things that I should have been like excited about or things that I should have been looking forward to, and I felt fucking nothing.
Yeah.
That's not good. That was that's kind of your sign to wean off them now and see how you go.
That's it.
But they do what they're meant to do.
Yeah, which is to make you not want to die.
Pull you out of the pit
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Until you get on your feet.
So I think like...
Well, I'm saying that actually, that those are for like generalised mental health crises. If you have a diagnosed mental health issue, like bipolar or BPD, take your meds.
Please
don't come off your meds.
Don't come off your meds and release a song called HH, which I can't say on the podcast, and think it's fine because it's not fine. Can you, please? I'm begging. Please.
Take your meds.
Please take your meds.
Please.
He's not listening, but I really want him to take those meds.
Please take the meds.
Because people are going, oh, well, he can't. He must be doing it because he's a genius. No, he's off his medication! Oh, my God!
Please, babe, take your meds.
Not cool, not funny.
It's not cute anymore.
It's not cute anymore.
Do you know what? It never was. Take your meds. Please take meds.
Please don't, like...
We're sick of hearing about you.
Yeah. Like, I don't...
The whole world is sick of hearing about you.
I don't need to be inflicted by that level of psychosis. Unmedicated psychosis.
No.
Like...
No.
Nobody does.
No, thank you.
I think that's also a thing as well, like, we talk about, like, mental health and tips for improving and stuff, And it's very important to put yourself first. It's also important for your own mental health to not fuck up other people's mental health.
Yes.
Because you didn't take responsibility.
Yeah. I will say it once. Having a mental health issue does not give you a green card to be a cunt.
Real. I know that's right.
Yeah. And that's all we'll say on that.
You know what it is?
Get it together.
Even at my worst, I would never inflict a level of pain onto other people. So when I see other people and people... At first you make an excuse because you're like, oh, right, well, it's because they're going through it, right?
Yeah, if they've hit self-destruct, you can understand sort of a first instance of it.
Yeah, and you give them a little bit of grace.
Yeah, you do. But just because people give you an inch, don't take a fucking mile.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself, would I do that? Would I do that? If I was feeling that way, would I do that?
Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't raise like that.
Exactly. Well, that's it. So, I think, yes, give people grace when it comes to their own mental health crises.
Try and if you're that way inclined, if you're somebody that kind of you know, you sort of built to help other people and you want to help other people, then try and sit down with them and work out why they're behaving, you know, and that might really help that person. However, if they continue to be completely unreasonable and don't take any steps whatsoever to help themselves in any way, you are allowed to walk away from somebody that has mental health issues if they are ruining your life. And
you don't feel guilty about that.
No,
no. I think it's fair to say that we've both done that.
I think we have, yeah.
And it's really hard.
Yeah. See, when I was going through crises, I was shit-feared that people would walk away from me. Absolutely shit-feared of it. And so I was probably over-accommodating, if anything.
Yeah. Which probably wasn't good for you.
No, which was probably really horrible for me. This is why it's such a minefield. Yeah. The whole thing is just such a minefield.
It is.
But I have also had, you know, people in my life who very clearly had worse mental health issues than me, who really, really hurt me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take it any longer and I walked away.
Yeah.
And I don't feel guilty about it. They needed to sort themselves out. I took so many steps to sort myself out.
Yeah.
I really put the work in. And it was hard.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
But they just simply weren't interested in helping themselves, and they certainly weren't interested in being a good person to other people either.
Yeah. And
that's where I draw the line.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Because, like, the last thing you want, I think, on top of your own internal voices telling you...
Someone else.
Yeah, that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's someone else telling you that you're a piece of shit.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of... I want to just touch on that, actually. So, I've never been suicidal, I've never tried to commit suicide. I've had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
But the truth of it, really, is that one of the reasons why I've never killed myself is because I'm too scared.
Yeah, fair.
And also, pro of killing yourself, like, at the time you think, I'll kill myself, I'm dead. Con, someone's going to go through your phone.
Oh, no!
And you know what? I just don't want that. I can't kill myself because...
I have too much to hide.
It's not even like there's anything juicy on there. It's just... That's a violation of privacy. Like, yeah, find me dead or whatever, but like...
Yeah, when you're dead, you've got no
privacy. Get off my phone!
When you're dead, you've got no privacy anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. You give it up.
Big con.
Big con.
Other cons of killing yourself. No garlic bread.
No more garlic bread. I love these reasons.
Don't kill yourself because...
they're always making new cocktails.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You know.
New music. Not Kanye's. Really,
Please don't touch his.
I cannot stress that enough.
Not right now.
Don't listen to it.
Just don't do it.
You don't want it.
You don't need it.
No. Other big con of killing yourself. The Chineses round here are really good.
Yeah. Well...
No, they are.
They're alright. Better than the city.
Oh my god, yeah, better than the city.
They're definitely better than the city.
Hand on heart, again, a reason why I moved back home. The Chineses are really good.
Yeah, there was like no good Chineses where we lived.
No.
What else? There is actually
There's
lots of
loads
things.
of reasons.
We are taking a piss.
Freshly mown grass. Unless you've got hay fever, I guess.
Yeah, then sorry.
It smells nice, but
It will kill you.
Your friends. Don't kill yourself because your friends love you.
Yeah, and on a very serious note.
Yeah.
At one stage, the only reason I didn't kill myself is because I felt too guilty about what it would do to my friends and family.
As you should.
Yeah. So think about that. Think about that.
Yeah. It's a really difficult one, isn't it? Because, like...
Yeah.
There'll be people who feel suicidal, and for them it is literally, like, the only way out.
Yeah.
But I can promise you, there are people that want you here.
There are. And...
life is not the same without you.
It really isn't. It really isn't.
In like the best way, like there will be people who feel joy by you being here.
By just your presence, you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
So
it might not even be people who you think.
Exactly, and you might not even be aware of it. Nobody might have told you that.
Yeah.
But there is.
Yeah. People
perceive you when you don't think that you're being perceived.
As Shana's found out from
doing the fucking podcast. Yeah, it's freaked me out that people are perceiving me. But people do. They think about you. Like the most random people will think about you.
Yeah.
And that's really nice.
Yeah.
And don't take that away from them. They need that.
Yeah.
So stick around. Also, you don't actually know where your life's going to go. I am not where I thought I would be.
No, I also am not where I thought I would be. I don't know where I thought it would be. Is that a sentence? I don't know where I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's a sentence.
Well,
you can have that.
Is it right?
I think so.
I'm not where I thought I would be, but I'm happy with where I am.
Me too.
And I think if I could tell myself anything from when if I was speaking to my younger self, and if there was a chair next to me that was empty, and if I was speaking to her, well, not my younger self, but myself that was in the pits. So I guess my younger self.
Yeah.
I would say, whatever anyone tells you, it's always going to get better. Mm-hmm. It always will.
They do actually. The things that if it's like an event or a scenario that's caused you crises, there will be a time in the future, no matter how far down the line that is, where you will look back at that event and it will pale into insignificance. And I know that sounds like that's not true, but it absolutely is. Some of the things that I was going to kill myself over do not matter to me anymore. Like, genuinely not even slightly matter to me anymore.
That's a big statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and imagine if you killed yourself
over that. I know.
Wasn't worth it.
I know.
Nope.
A sin and a shame.
So, it's easy for it to just say, just get through it.
Yeah.
But, like, it will end. It will.
It always does.
It always does. And it will be the hardest thing that you've ever gone through. And if that's the hardest thing you've ever gone through, you can go through anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's that cringe saying, isn't there? You've survived 100% of your days here.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Exactly.
That's like 100% success rate. It's true.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You are strong enough, if you think you're not, well, if you think you are, or you're not.
Yeah.
And you will do it.
Yeah, because you've got to.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So, I think as well, I want to dive slightly into the self-harm dark tips.
Okay.
So for me personally, I've not ever physically self-harmed. So I can't really give too many tips on it.
Yeah.
I can say don't do it, or like don't, I know it sounds really obvious, but just don't buy the stuff to do it.
Well, yeah, that you don't.
Oh, right, okay.
There's just everyday items that will do that.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So it's a hard one. Especially if you're somebody that feels an urge to do that.
Right, okay.
Because it is an urge, often.
Right. Okay.
But there are ways and means around it, and they sound really dumb, but they work.
Okay.
So I used to rub ice cubes up and down my arms.
Yeah.
Because it's really cold, it's bitter, You don't really want to do it, but you're feeling the urge to do something.
And I suppose it still hurts in a way, doesn't it?
It does, but
Yeah.
you're not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
There are lots of ways and means to do it. You might feel the urge for a run. I used to go and just move around the house a lot, like, very quickly.
You know what I keep seeing on TikTok as well? Like, this trend of depression hits a moving target, and it's people just dancing.
Literally, you've got to move.
It's like, is it somatic shaking? If that's what it is. It's something about basically, like, if you're dancing, you feel good. So you, like, give yourself a bit of a dopamine spike. I suppose it's like exercising, isn't it? Like, you move and your body feels better for it.
Yeah. I think that the major issue with coming up with stuff to prevent yourself from doing something daft is when you're in a mindset of, like... So for me, I was always in a mindset of absolute panic.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to control any sort of normal thought process when that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's hard to think, oh, instead of doing that thing that I've got the urge to do, I'm going to do this. It's hard to think that.
I think the way to make that easier is by purposely making yourself so busy.
Incredibly. You've got to just,
like there is no...
You just got to do, like, random shit.
Yeah, do random shit. Talk to people, call people.
First thing that pops into your head.
Go out shopping.
Do you know what? FaceTiming people's a really good one.
Yeah.
Because especially if you've got a friend that yaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely do that.
Which, as you can imagine, me and Sian, if we ever FaceTime each other, it's just hours.
Oh, yeah.
Hours.
Hours and hours of yapping.
Yeah.
That sorts me out.
Yeah, actually, I think talking to people who are actually emotionally intelligent, who can effectively talk you off the cliff edge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
People who get it, people who are funny, I think, as well. Distract you from the horror that is living.
Yeah. You've got to find what is going to soothe you.
Yeah.
So, it was explained to me in therapy, actually, that when you're going through that, it's because your nervous system is overactive.
Yeah.
So you've got to find ways to self-soothe.
Yeah.
Your nervous system. Mm-hmm. And it can be literally anything. Just find it. Whatever it is, find the solution.
Yeah.
There will be one.
Even if it's weird.
It can be as weird as you want.
Do weird shit.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better and it's not hurting anyone, do weird shit.
Yeah. Do handstands in the front room, mate.
I think that's why, a lot of people hit, 25 or whatever and have, the quarter-life crisis and everyone's like, I've got to run a half marathon or I've got to go to Japan. That's all they do. They're like, oh, I've got to travel, I've got to do stuff and...
I need a bizarre hobby. I'm going to go bungee jumping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marathon runners, what are you doing?
I'll behave. That's one that I'll never get.
I can't.
I could be way deep in the pits on the edge of the cliff and I'll never think to do a marathon.
No, I've thought of all sorts of hobbies and got back into all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I've got back into stuff, I've tried new stuff. Fuck me, even Duolingo's helped. I mean, fuck that bird, I've deleted it now. But,
I've got the bird.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ah, sacked it off.
No, I'm learning Spanish.
Espanol.
Hola.
How's that going? Can you speak to Jordan yet?
No, can I yell? Can I yell?
What I realised is that I was just learning words and learning, the pattern in which I was speaking, and then I realised I was like, this isn't actually, because I was learning French, I was like, this isn't actually helping me. Can I remember any of it? No.
Don't sit, does it?
No. It was fun though.
It's because we're old and the grey matter's dying.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. But as well, that, doing hobbies and finding things that you like doing, that comes under, I guess, focusing on what you can control.
It's a distraction until it passes, until the cloud passes.
Yeah.
Basically.
But I think in that same breath, focus on things that you can control. And yes, distract yourself from the horrible abyss that is life.
Yeah.
But don't distract yourself from things that are, with things that are obviously going to make it worse. So if you know that you're in the pits and you feel anxious and you're depressed, maybe don't binge drink.
Please don't, actually, because I used to do that and it's fucking awful.
Maybe, take a minute and just be like, do I want to do this? Is this going to make me feel better? I mean, yeah, go out and have a drink or whatever. But if you know that you're going to feel like absolute fucking ass afterwards, maybe, don't do that. And I'm going to sound like such a pretentious twat right now. But, I've got really into CBD drinks.
Don't. I love those. The
Yeah.
trip drinks.
The trip drinks, and
Nice.
then I go to the tonic. It's based at Hebden Bridge, but
Oh, yeah. Is it Tonic Tribe?
yeah, Tonic Tribe.
Yeah.
And they do like a bunch of herbal teas, and they are fantastic.
nice.
They're so good.
I remember, right, you introduced me to those,
Yeah.
and they're so good.
Yeah, they are absolutely unbelievable.
And the patches. They do, like, patches on your arms, CBD patches.
Yeah, so you
Banging.
can get like 15mg or 30mg, and they're like Nicky patches. They're so good.
The mint. They're absolutely mint.
But like to chill out and to not feel anxious.
I think that's a really positive form of self-medication, though, that.
Yes, because like
You can't overdose on that.
I, as a treat, this again, it's going to sound really fucking weird, this. As a treat, I would buy myself a fun little beverage, because I love a fun little beverage, and you've got to give yourself little treats in order to not want to die.
You do
sometimes.
like a little silly little drink, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. I love a unique beverage. I love going to the vape shop and seeing what Malaysian Fantas they've got in there. I really do. I get really excited about it. They've currently discontinued my vanilla Coke, so that's making me want to cry a bit.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. But I would have that like before bed, and obviously because of that, massive amounts of caffeine, everything like spikes.
Yep.
You're wired. Well, I mean, somebody's listening to that being like, somebody clearly doesn't have like much caffeine. I don't actually. So obviously, when I have pop, I go off the rails.
This is where me and you are so like wildly different, because I took 8 Pro Plus at Download Festival once, and I went to sleep.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It just doesn't do now.
No, like
Caffeine does not really do anything for me.
see, I'm just not that I don't tolerate caffeine, but like I don't drink coffee or anything like that. So like
Yeah.
when I do have caffeine, it's quite obvious that I've had caffeine, and it does affect me, like it keeps me up. But instead of like now going for the silly pop and the, you know, Japanese Pepsi that might be at the vape shop, I now go for like trip drinks and CBD teas, and they help me wind down.
They really do help relax.
And it does kind of feel like a form of self-medication, because I think when you go down the self-medication route, people will go one of two ways. Like they will
Classes.
Yeah.
Or vicious amounts of alcohol.
Or vicious amounts of alcohol. Or it's like all the herbal shit, like
That's fine, right?
CBD, ashwagandha.
You can absolutely tan herbal shit. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You might shit yourself a bit, but yeah.
That's fine. Do a poo. That's not wrong with that. That's fine.
Do a poo.
At least you've not got anxiety, though.
Yeah. You pooed it all out.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think like being conscious of that. Again, I think it all just comes down to, do you want to get better?
It does. I think
We've all got choices. Like even when you're in the pits, like you know whether what you're doing is right for you or wrong for you.
I think you do, yeah.
Because even when I've been like at my most down, or even like there's times where I've had like bad mental health crises, but it's been more like manic. Like it's been mania, and I've gone. It's my version of off the rails, because my version of off the rails isn't even that bad. It's just that I just go out and party a lot more.
Yeah, but if it feels bad to you, it's bad enough.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, I think that's an important thing actually around mental health, where people think, oh well, that person's worse than me, so I just need to get it together.
Yeah.
Not the case. Everyone's different. Everyone's got higher and lower tolerances of what they can and can't handle.
That's actually a really good point, because there's times where like I've thought, oh well, this person drinks more than me, and this person goes out more than me.
Yeah.
They might have they might have better mental health than me though.
Yeah.
They might be able to do that. They might be able to tolerate it, and that's their business. It's none of my fucking business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's about how I feel.
Yeah.
Or how you, dear listener, feel.
Yeah. I think the biggest lesson with mental health is to get familiar with your own body.
Yeah.
And your own mind, and try and pinpoint what things make your shit worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes you can't pinpoint it and you don't know why it's going wrong, and you feel confused and then angry with yourself, and it just spirals.
Yeah.
But you just need to take a minute.
Yeah.
Realistically, you've got all the time in the world. You need to sit down, put some shit aside, and be like, right, I need to take some time and really look at myself here, that might be with the help of a professional.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to pinpoint why you act in certain ways as a response to something.
Yeah.
And it might shock you. It might not shock you.
Yeah.
You might think, oh, actually, that makes a whole lot of sense. I've just never really thought about it like that.
Yes.
And that is so valuable because you can then take that forward. Basically, what therapy does, it gives you a toolbox to take forward and use to help you through the difficult moments in life, because you are going to have difficult moments in life.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to change that toolbox. You might have to go back to therapy and get new tools because it's not working anymore.
Yeah, or they're broken.
And that's why it's maintenance. It's not like a one-time thing and you're done and you're fine.
Yeah.
Often, sometimes it is, often it isn't.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Because I think people think, oh, something horrible's got to happen to me to go to therapy. Like,
It doesn't.
You can go anytime and just be like, oh, I am. Especially if it's like something that you've maybe done a little bit of self-reflection and you've just started scratching the surface of like, oh shit, this is why I am the way that I am. Or even in a, like, whether that's in a mental health way or a behavioural way or whatever, and you just think, I'm not too keen on that, or I'm trying to understand why I am this way, or I want to change it, or whatever.
Yeah.
You can go to therapy anytime. There doesn't need to be a massive thing for you to do that.
Nope.
Like, no, catastrophic event needs to happen.
No, it doesn't.
You can just, I say ring them up and go, but ring them up, and in 18 months, we'll see you.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
Do you have any resources that you can recommend?
Yeah. So, as somebody who has been suicidal, it is often difficult to get help immediately. Yes. That's what the struggle is. I would say there is a especially around here. I can only really advise for around
like here geographically. So here geographically is the northwest. Yeah, it's Cumbria.
So there is a mental health crisis line.
Yep.
That is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yep.
That you can absolutely utilise, and I'm pretty sure the number is 0800 953 0110. There you go.
Is that because you have it on speed dial?
It might be. You can also phone Samaritans. Yes. They will also always be available.
Do they have a texting service, did you say, as well?
They do.
Yeah.
However, when I was in the absolute pits, the depths, you text them and then they take forever to reply. So I was looking at my phone thinking, I could have killed myself in this time. Which I know is really bleak, but so I wouldn't highly recommend it if you're going through like a vicious issue. If
you need help like now, that's not the one. You can just text them and they'll get back to you if you're having a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, or if you're just having, your standard kind of rough time and you are somebody that doesn't like speaking on the phone, then it's probably alright.
Yeah.
The texting thing's probably okay.
Yeah.
There is Mind. You can phone Mind. I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't for me.
That's fair enough.
Who else was there?
Then usually
round here, the therapies.
Yeah.
So it's called Talking Therapies now.
Yeah.
That's the name of it. You can self-refer or you can go for your GP. I self-refer because I can't be asked speaking to my GP about it.
That's fair enough.
Because most of the time they don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your experience might be different with your GP.
It might be. Yeah, I'm not bashing GPs. I'm sorry. But it wasn't. Yeah, I don't like speaking to general practitioners about it because it's not the specialism, and it can feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get that. I think there's nothing worse when you're going through a mental health crisis
and having to speak to a stranger that doesn't get it.
It's people not getting it.
It's horrific.
Like,
people not getting it.
Because that is something that'll make you feel so alien.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you now, there's people who do get it. And
absolutely.
And who do care. There'll be friends and family that care and want to help you through it.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be mental health professionals that'll want to help you through it. There'll even be workplaces that'll want to help you through it.
Yeah, there will be.
And like we said before, if you maybe feel isolated or if you feel like you're putting on the people around you too much, there is always professional services.
Absolutely. And I promise you, like, there will be somebody in those mental health services that you will vibe with.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one person.
Yeah.
You please utilise that, because it is so invaluable.
That's it, like...
I'll tell you what, one on a side point, when you go through therapy and you really vibe with your therapist and then therapy ends, I'm always devastated. Because I'm like, oh, I can't take you for a pint now. I've done therapy, I'm not going to see you now. It always makes me well sad.
You're mourning your therapist.
Yeah, literally.
That's
like, they're my best pal, I've told them everything.
They just get me.
They know the depths, everything. They know absolutely everything. Yeah. So, please just... I know it's hard. Because I've spoken to professionals and they've been absolute useless bumholes, but they've been useless, and it's made me feel even worse. Yeah. However, please just keep going with it, because there will be somebody that you're like, oh my god, you get it. Yeah,
there absolutely will be. Even in a place like this where it doesn't feel like that particularly has the resources for it. I mean, it's the UK, isn't it? So like, everywhere feels like that, but I feel like particularly here because we're remote.
Yeah. Feels limited.
It does feel limited, but there'll be something, and you'll find something, and you'll keep going.
Yeah.
Because you've got it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You owe it to yourself.
100%. And I just want to say, as my closing statement, no matter what goes on in your life, no matter how catastrophic that it is, it could be. Yeah. It could be the worst thing ever to happen. It's really not worth killing yourself. I promise you. It's not worth doing anything daft. It's not worth self-destructing over. No. There is always a way out, no matter what the situation is. Yeah. It could be the darkest situation that you can possibly think of that's happened to you or is happening around you. It could be breakdown of a family. It could be anything. Yeah. It is not worth what you're thinking of doing. Yeah. Please just trust that in time your life is going to look completely different. Yeah. And you'll get there. You will. 100% you'll get there.
You've got it.
Yep.
And imagine if you don't. How can you not look back on that situation then and be like, oh, well, that wasn't worth it, was it?
And also, fuck me, I'm strong. Like, I'm class.
Yeah.
Like, I got through that and I'm sick.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you might even go on to help other people, which is also really valuable.
You might even go, not kill yourself, then set up a podcast with one of your best mates and then talk about it on said podcast and tell other people to not kill themselves.
Exactly.
It's so good not killing yourself.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Also, that other cliche thing, grow up to be the adult that young you needed. Yeah. Do that.
Do that.
Absolutely do that. I think I've done that.
I think you have too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think you've done that.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do. I think you'd be well comforting to little Beth.
Little Beth would think I would be so uncool, you know.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Still comforting though.
Oh yeah.
She's still hanging around you.
Right, this yappening's come to an end, I feel.
I think it has, my love.
Alright. Well, we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yay. See you soon.
See you soon. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Panda, you bitch.
Fucking arsehole, mate. This is the first time she's done this. No.
I know, I was thinking that.